So what to do when an ayahuasca ceremony goes wrong? Or maybe even the whole retreat goes wrong? What are you doing? What can even go wrong? So welcome back, my friends, or welcome back to myself, because I've been a little bit abstinent the last month, but I was traveling in Colombia, and this is also why this video comes into my mind, because actually we had a retreat somehow going wrong. And the first thing I want to say is that, in my opinion, when it comes to ayahuasca, nothing can really go wrong in the way of wrong. It didn't work. Something was not correct. Because all the things that happen need to happen. Everything that happens is already part of the process, even the time before. The time before you go to the retreat, you fly, you prepare yourself, maybe you're doing a special diet for ayahuasca, which I highly recommend, by the way. So all is the process. I think that even the time before you decide taking ayahuasca, all of that is part of the process, the whole organization. And then you are there, you have high expectations, you're like, oh my God, I want to heal, I want to transform, I want to get rid of old patterns, I want to look into old trauma. You have like really intense intentions most of the time. So that's what I learned, that the most people coming to ayahuasca are, they tried a lot. They tried mostly everything else, from therapy, medication, hypnotherapy, whatever. They tried it all. So you're coming there, you have high expectations, and then what I maybe mean by going wrong is that you feel like you don't want to keep going. You feel uncomfortable, you feel unsafe. Of course, there are things that are literally unsafe, or even because there's so much misuse with these medicines, because it had such a boom and such a hype in the last years, that of course many people are doing it that they maybe should not do it, or they don't have the empathy, or they don't have the professionalism to really lead a retreat and to be careful of all the participants. So an example from my life from 4 years ago in Peru, it was not something really going wrong, but yeah, it was going wrong for me. So the shaman was like, I think 25 or something. And in the integration session, so it was just me and another participant. We were just us two in the middle of the Amazon. And the place was run by a French guy and a Brazilian girl, I think. And the shaman had this condescending, judging attitude. He was young. He had like sporty clothes, base cap and stuff. Nothing wrong with base cap, but for a shaman, I was like, okay. Then he did not look me in the eyes. It was really weird. He did not like introduce himself. Things that I'm like, okay, who are you even? I'm taking the medicine from you, but I'd like to know who you are. So he didn't say anything. And then the worst thing came in the next day, the integration session, when I was sharing a little bit. I felt uncomfortable with him, but I was sharing a little bit about my path and my journey. And then he said, oh my God, so young and already so many problems. And I was like, okay. And the facilitator woman felt this kind of disharmony, and she was kind of jumping in and making a little bit peace and talking about herself to bring it into a balance what I said or something like that. She tried to rescue the situation, which is ridiculous in the first place. You should not be in a position to justify yourself in an integration session after ayahuasca. Anyway. So she was sharing something of her, and the shaman again said this, like, I don't know the English word, misogynistic comment. That's why your ex-boyfriend left you. And she was also like, okay. And yeah, after the session, I went into my bungalow and I felt like, nah, I cannot do this. I cannot for the life of me do this. And it's so funny because back in the day, 2021, I was not in this place where I am now, or where I'm confident enough and to face the problems that come my way in a actual adult way. Back in the day, there were many things that were not healed in me, unhealed wounds that, when they were triggered, brought me back into childlike behavior, or like old, really old patterns. So the first thought that I had after this happened was, I'm gonna escape. I'm gonna escape. I cannot do this. I will not drink the medicine from him. I'm escaping. So I took my bottle of water and I went out into the Amazon and was looking for another place. Seriously. I went out. It was like 40 degrees or something. And again, a dog followed me. Like here in Colombia, dogs following me. And I was like, oh no, I don't find anything. The place that I found was abandoned. So, okay, I had to go back. Option B, talking to them. It came to my mind, okay, I'm going to talk to them. It was like such a big trigger for me, like to look for this conversation in the almost sure expectance of rejection. It's like when I'm bringing something up that is going on for me or in my life, I will be rejected. They will not understand. They will blame me for being a princess. They blame me for being complicated, whatever. And I was like, oh God. And then I still did it. I was talking to the French guy. And the miracle happened. He understood. He was really apologetic and really kind and stuff. And I was like, oh, wow, this is conflict solving? I never even heard about that. So that was a big step. I'm exaggerating. Of course, I resolved conflicts before, but in this setting, to stand up for myself and then being met with the attitude of understanding was really a big game changer for me. And I decided to not drink the medicine anymore from him, from the shaman. I said that, like, it's, for me, it's sacred. I don't want to drink the medicine from him who's really like macho. How's this word? When you're a guy and you hate women. I don't know. But he was like that. So I decided not to drink the medicine from him. So I took it from the other guy. This was kind of a compromise for me because I couldn't escape. I booked the last ceremony as well, and I was in the middle of the jungle. So I was like, okay, that's it. And it was really amazing. And even in the last ceremony, I felt that when he sang the Icaros, that he was really putting a lot of heart and effort in these songs, because these songs really accompanied me through the whole process. And then in the end I was hugging him. I'm like, okay, I forgive everybody. And that's what ayahuasca does. You see through the things, you see behind the things. And in the end, of course, behind his attitude was also just like maybe fear or like feeling of not being good enough, whatever. But this is what I realized, and that's why I hugged him after. And so then after this retreat, I went to another place, but I was released into civilization before. So yeah, what are you going to do? What I always suggest is relax first. Like, okay, what's going on? What is the issue? Is there like uncomfortableness in terms of like somebody will touch you, or is it like any sexual abuse, whatever stuff going on? Then yeah, if you feel that uncomfortable, then I would not continue with the retreat. Guys, I have to, oh God, it's like, now it's okay. It's like probably 30 degrees or something, but in the sun you're gonna die. What I was gonna say, yeah. Then if you feel uncomfortable in whatever way, and this is what happened in my retreat here in Colombia, is that I had 2 ceremonies with a shaman person, I want to say person, who I met in Switzerland. And the medicine was really good and his music was really good. So I was like, okay, I'm in Colombia, he's here, so I want to do a retreat with them. But in Switzerland already I had a weird feeling about them. So in the end, I was like, okay, I knew it. Anyway, I wanted to give it a shot because in Switzerland, the ceremony was really triggering really dark sides of me. It was really a huge shadow work ceremony or ceremonies that really helped me transform so many dark aspects which we need to do in order to find the light in us, or to even see the dark side so they can be transcended. What I really mean by that, maybe I will talk about it in another video because that goes too far now. But that was why I was like, okay, I did not really like him, but the retreat was so transformative, so I want to try it again. And can I not clip that here? Okay. It didn't stick to my sweaty skin. Okay. The first night, so the medicine was not the same. Also, really important thing, the medicine was not the same. It was a different one. In Switzerland, we had from Kofan tribe, and here in Colombia, it was from the Inca tribe, which is amazing. I was like, okay, Inca, wow, I always loved Inca stuff, and feel really connected to that culture for some reason. Then in the first night, really intense emotions came up, like really, 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 probably one of my toughest ceremonies on a emotional pain level. And already in that ceremony was like, okay, they're not really, I didn't feel the love, I didn't feel the care, which was good because it was triggering for me. But I'm doing this whole trauma work and ayahuasca and psychedelics and therapies and things for 5 years. So for me, when is the microphone on? Yeah. When I'm getting really triggered, even in a ceremony or on psychedelics, I can kind of navigate it, or even in normal life, when we get triggered, I can kind of navigate it. So if you are a person who is completely new to the whole world and you have some deep traumas to go through, or there's something below the surface, then I would highly recommend you going into a setting where you are for sure safe and for sure that you will be feeling cared for, because that was missing in the retreat in Colombia. And the second night was even worse. The other participant was feeling the same, so the next day we or like more me, we brought it up before the next thing we wanted to do. I was like, okay, I'm feeling something in my spirit, I want to talk about it, it's not feeling right for me. But I knew also already before that they will not take it as a constructive feedback. I knew that they're going to feel offended, and it was exactly the case. They deflected everything that on us, kind of, that because we said we did not feel cared for. And in the whole ceremony, so they gave us the ayahuasca, and then that was the last contact we had with them. There was no look, no like short, like, okay, how are they doing? Do you need some water? Do you need some whatever? Facilitating. You facilitate a space. You like care for the others. Do they need something? And you feel that when you're there on the mattress. You feel if there's a presence looking after you, or you feel the lack of it. And again, trauma trigger, lack of care, nobody cares, being left alone, being rejected, being abandoned. Big thing. But as I said, in the best case scenario, you are in an environment where you feel comforted and okay, if something happens here, I know somebody will realize. Because in that retreat, I was thinking, if I would die here, they would probably just realize tomorrow morning, because they just so yeah, I brought this up, and the result of that, and in a healthy way, really, I'm like, okay guys, I felt that you did not really care. I feel you did not even come over once, and that was a bit weird for me because I felt kind of abandoned. The other person said, yeah, I felt cold. I was cold the whole night, and I felt really uncomfortable and alone. And the thing is, you cannot really let go. Sometimes with ayahuasca, you need to kind of like, it is like you're laying your body to the side or there, and you kind of disappear into another dimensions. And in order to do that, you need to know that your body is completely safe. For me personally, I need to know that nobody's touching my body. I know that nobody will like kind of like bring me a blanket or stuff like that. I don't want anybody near me when I'm going into this deep other dimensions. So That's really important. And the result of the feedback was that the person who facilitated the retreat actually came to me next day and said he wants to cancel. He feels disharmonies in the group and he feels like he needs to keep the energy together. And I was like, I don't know. I was thinking also about it, but I'm ready to continue. But okay, if you want to cancel it. So this is what proves to me that this person was not at all able to hold the space. Because usually as a facilitator, you hold the space for whatever comes up. And there's always some emotional stuff going on in retreats. It's always intense. So you need to be a strong person, knowledgeable about trauma and all these kind of things. So, even if you get criticized or you get some feedback, even then, it's not about you personally. It's about the stuff that comes up for the participants. So he could not handle it. He canceled the retreat. Retreat over. And then I went to another place and I had some other experiences with other people. And again, yeah. And I had really good retreats. So I have a lot of comparison there. And it's such a delicate thing, because what I decided for myself, that I will not ever again in my life do a ceremony or a retreat or something with somebody I do not know, or I don't know the place or anything. I'll just keep on going. I'm traveling or whatever. And when something pops up and these people feel good in my spirit, I will do it. Otherwise, I'm good. So when you're in this setting and you feel, okay, the options are you can cancel it, you can leave. You in most cases, in most places, unless you're in the middle of the Amazon, you can leave. You can say, okay, that's not for me. What you probably won't get your money back, but you can ask. Or you make adjustments, like I said, like, I don't want to drink the medicine from this guy, but I want to stay in the retreat. Speak to the people. And this will also empower you a lot, because in this setting, most of the time, or often, it's like the shaman has some kind of like god position. Like, people put him on a pedestal. Of course, if he's a really good shaman. 1 second, guys. 1 second. Of course, if he's a really good shaman, then that's the shaman. That's for sure. But it should not keep you from speaking your truth or standing up for yourself when you feel something is not right. And if it's a really professional place and the people know what they're doing, then they will react accordingly to it and not blame you on it. And so even if nothing can literally go wrong, because whatever happens is exactly what needs to happen, that is 100% sure. That's 100%. From each uncomfortable or going wrong ceremony, there was always such a valuable lesson behind it. Always. So even if stuff goes wrong, everything goes horribly wrong, it goes right anyway. And even if you have to cancel the retreat, you go, let's say you somewhere in the middle of nowhere, you cancel the retreat, you say, okay, I'm going somewhere else. Then believe that this is also the medicine. Like, everything is the medicine. Everything that is surround ayahuasca is the medicine. The week after, the week before, the people you meet, the stuff like, everything. So even if you cancel it and you do stuff by yourself from that point, believe me, it's not over. The process is still going. And especially these conflicts and uncomfortable situations that we were conditioned to avoid, or because for many of us, conflict was always a thing that was so uncomfortable, because there was no solution, there was no healing. You have conflict, and then you're coming back together, you find a solution, and there's kind of repair is the word. There's no repair. So for me also, conflict always meant breaking of the relationship. In general, or just in this moment, it was always like kind of a breakup moment. conflict. It could not, in my imagination, conflict could not be solved harmoniously. That was not existent in my life. So of course, many years I avoided I avoided conflict like the plague. Or when I felt it's over anyway, it doesn't matter anyway anymore, then I'm like full on fight mode and like destruction mode and whatever. And like, okay, if I already lose this person, which is just my perception, right? Then I can also go in full destruction mode and be at least the strong one in the situation and the winner, and somehow that I destroyed it and not it got destroyed. So when we're traumatized really early on, we do everything to have this feeling of empowerment. And even if that means, okay, then I'm gonna break up, because then I'm not the victim, I'm not powerless. Because this feeling of powerlessness is one of the deepest wounds many of us have. I would even say all of us, because when we were born as babies, we are completely powerless. And I don't know if there are parents, even if they're the most loving parents and the most amazing parents, at this point of my life, I'm actually even convinced that all humans have this wound of separation, because we are separated, or we think we are separated from God, from source, from the light, and we are thrown on this planet like little vulnerable babies, and we're like, what the hell is going on? I cannot even feed myself, I cannot even move, I cannot even lift my head. All I can do is scream. All you can do is scream. And then imagine help is not coming immediately. And you are separated, you feel like completely lost. And I think this wound is what we all carry. And then, of course, on top of it comes what many of us experience, this abandonment things, that parents were not there. It's not said that they were not there on purpose. Many times they just didn't have time or whatever. But many times they were just not there. And believe me, my friends, this wound of you have a need and the person who's supposed to take care of you is not there, it created a bigger wound than you can imagine. Because when I came to this wound and I felt this pain of this wound, I was like, whoa, this is so old. And I had no idea, even after these years of trauma work, I had no idea that this wound of like really existential fear of dying is still in me. I had no idea this pain was still there. And I knew it was an old pain because it felt like a memory. It felt like, oh no, I have been there before. No. So there are huge resistance and fear and pain. And so this is all things that come up. And when the time is right, they will usually come up. And like I said, when the time is right, ayahuasca did not challenge me with some stuff that I experienced, let's say, in 23, when I started in 2019. So it's a really wise medicine that gives you what you need. You can 100% be sure that whatever happens is exactly what you need. And even if nothing happens, or even if it's just a nice, beautiful night and you have no crazy deep insights or whatever, maybe you just at this point you need to be shown the pure love of God that you kind of are in, or that you are. In another time you need to be really angry in a ceremony because your anger needs to be seen, your anger wound, your like complete fight and destruction mode that you push down. And in another ceremony, you feel like the vulnerable baby that is screaming alone in the bed after birth and nobody's coming. And so it's like an onion. It's layers of the layers of the layers. And I can just encourage everybody who's drawn to ayahuasca to follow the call. Because if it's not for you, it will not call you. So many people are just like, I never heard about ayahuasca. I never heard about any of that stuff. So whatever. But if it's somehow in your consciousness, if it's somehow in your reality, that already means something. And I can encourage you to follow the call and not do it out of fear, or do it really consciously. Be really conscious about everything that you do in general, about everything that you do or that you not do. Like, why am I not doing it? Like, what is the reason I'm not doing it? Ask yourself these questions all the time in general, not just about ceremonies or psychedelics or any of that stuff. In general, reflect constantly. Even if you go to the fridge, take the chocolate. What's the reason I'm doing that now? For me, in the last days, for example, I had kind of an urge to eat unhealthy stuff. Reason A, because there's so much unhealthy stuff in Colombia. But the reason B was, after this several experiences that I had here, I had a really intense high vibration in my body, and I was like, whoa. And I always experience, or many times, that also when our vibration raises and we kind of feel something intense is happening, but in a good way, it can kind of feel similar to our nervous system. It can feel similar to stress or to a threat. So we kind of feel like, whoa, something intensely good is happening. I want to eat chocolate or whatever. It can be both ways. So always have a look on yourself and what are you doing and what are you not doing. And of course, research about the retreat center before is always a good thing, to be sure before what you're going into. I can, if somebody of you is interested, I can link the retreat center that I was in Peru in the description, because it was really, really, really amazing place. The shaman was absolutely magical. His wife, or there were a couple, and they were over 60 years old, and really you see that in the eyes. Usually you see the stuff in people's eyes. Actually, I just have to see a person, but I have to see them in person. I cannot the photos or something, you can see a little bit, but the best thing is to be there where the stuff happens, and then go with the flow and book it or something. And of course, always stand up for yourself if you feel like something is not right in your spirit, and you don't have to you even don't have to explain it. You can just say, it doesn't feel right for me. It does not feel comfortable for me. Then that is an explanation. So many times we think we have to make huge explanations, like, because why, after, like, I felt because, and then my mother back in the past, she was like, and that's why now I'm blah, blah, blah. No, it doesn't feel right for me. It doesn't feel aligned. It doesn't feel, no. That's completely enough. And who does not accept that or tolerate, or even in a way, like, thank you for your feedback, it's helpful for us as well, then it was not the right place in the first place. So my friends, I think that's gonna be it for today. I will have a little walk around the island again, like I did the last days. I have a new friend. That is my friend. Hello. That is my friend. We went swimming to the beach this morning. He was sleeping on my little tiny veranda the whole night, and now we're gonna explore the island a little bit. And because it's my last evening on the island, tomorrow I'm going back to Cartagena, and today's Sunday, and our Wednesday are gonna fly to Bogota and back home. So there was more than 1 month traveling, and I'm really, really happy here in Colombia. It's an amazing place, even though really challenging as well. For everybody who wants to come here, be prepared to get triggered. All right, my friends, I wish you an awesome time, awesome day, awesome night, awesome morning, whatever you have. And I hope to see you in the next video. Let me know what came up for you in the comments. Like always, I'm really interested in your perspective, your experiences and everything. And I wish you a nice time. Bless you, and see you.